Welcome back, everybody, to Unconditional Surrender Europe, game designed by Salvatore Vasta, published by GMT Games. We are going into the July 1941 turn. In the last video, I managed to, by the skin of my teeth, conquer Italy in May of 1941, and then I failed miserably in the Diplomacy Cup poll, where I had a 50-50 chance of getting Yugoslavia to join my side, and it didn't, following my typical diplomatic disasters. Fortunately, the Allies also pulled a no event, which forced the Russians to put in a political failure and a no event. So we will start up here with July. We don't have to roll weather. Get up the buckets for everybody to see. Because everybody knows it's fair. 1 through 6, it's fair. So we just put everything in the fair zone. Went to declaration of war. I said, you got to be kidding. I have enough wars to fight. Western Allies could have declared war. I think he just started going off to economies because it was like, nah, he didn't want to start any extra wars either at this point. Still too many Germans floating around in the West. So Britain's down to 22 instead of 24 for a change. I actually get a little bit ahead there. We go into strategic warfare. I don't think we had anything to play this turn, so it was just a die roll. Now, even though the Soviets are active, they don't get to roll because their factory loss marker is not on the national tracks yet. That won't happen until I do an East invaded. So that's why you're not seeing us roll the Russian side yet. Oh yeah, I think I went to check and I noticed that he didn't move his stuff into his from eliminated into mobilization. So that was just us cleaning up, doing some housekeeping we should have done last turn. So I rolled a 4 plus 2 for a grand total of 6. Not bad. He rolled a 3, so I chipped away another one. Of course, next turn he gets his sub, so odds are he's going to get that back, and I might very well lose 1 or 2 because I have to go up against the Russians and the British next turn if I do an East invaded here in July. So that's weighing on my mind. Strategic movement. I went and got the marker, put it on my events card so I could take it and put it on here. And then, as I stated earlier, where I was going to put this Panzer unit was right there. So hopefully that will help me keep Romania alive, because he doesn't have to wait for East invaded. He can come running across the Romanian border and blow me up if he wants. Western strategic movement. Did he do one? Yes, he moved that to there. I'm not sure why he went on that side of the river, but because he's hoping to get a retreat or something if I get that far. And the Soviets, did they do something here? No, he didn't. So we just went into Axis operations. So I think yeah, I came at him with the 3rd Luft, the one that's further north on the French border. So it's just setting the numbers, -2 to -3. I rolled a 2, -2, so I'm a 0, which becomes a 1. And he rolled a 6, -3, which is a 3, so he did 2 sorties to me, which was very annoying. So then I just had to use another sortie. I was hoping to, trade him 2 for 2 in a fair weather, and then I'd have 2 guys with 4 sorties, so I could actually fly one off to the east, and the other one could, support. So that was my thought process, but it didn't work out that way. So I activated that infantry army. Went ahead and decided to attack the Malta. And Well, actually, before I did that, I activated the Yugoslav. Went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did not want to give him a free port. And then the other Yugoslav went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and sat in Venice. So just trying to make sure my ports are not just free places for him to drop units. You know, I don't want the Western Desert Force just magically appearing in Trieste and giving me headaches. So then I activated the 6th German Army and attacked Malta. So I threw in the airplane, I think. Did we go to combat commitment? Yeah, we're in combat commitment. We both committed. So he threw his tanks marker. I used my airplane. So I ended up being at +3, and he was that high. Oh, and I threw my tanks too. So I was 2, 4, 5, 6, -1 for the mountains. So I was +5 to his +1. I got an 8, and he rolled a 2. It's very nice of him to roll a 1 + 1, which is a 2. So he is DD'd, so that makes him eliminated. I had 5 movement points left, and I think I just moved there to try and control his retreats in the future. Then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what that did is it took Rome, and it also is, I'm trying to keep him from being able to retreat into good defensive positions, assuming that I'm going to win this battle up here, but we don't know that for a fact. And then I attacked here, so that's 7 movement points left. He's at -1, and I'm at +4. I don't know why I had a 5 on there. Oh, because he's isolated. So I was +5 to his -1. I rolled a 1, which gave me a 6. He rolled a 6, which gave him a 5. So nothing. So I have to spend 3 more movement points to do this. I get a net of 7. Still not rolling very well, but fortunately he rolled a 1. What the? Oh, that's me hitting the attack button. Never mind. That's where we should be. I rolled a 2, and then I rolled a 3. That was me hitting the attack button. I rolled a 3 + 5, and he rolled a 4 -1, which was just enough because the retreat kills him. Now I have 4 movement points left, so I said, what the heck? Move 1, spend my last 3. Because he's in low supply, he's actually starting off at -3, and I'm at +2, 3 rather. 5 + 3 is an 8, and he rolled a 1, so I took out that army as well. Couldn't go any farther, but basically I'm on the casino line, and there's no Brits to be seen anywhere. He can bring the Western Desert Force in, but that's about it. So all his garrisons are gone. So that was kind of important to me. And then I think I spent this guy, went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I wanted to get there so that I could, you know, if he does bring the Western Desert Force in at Taranto or Brindisi, I wanted to be able to try and set him up to be isolated and blow him up. That was my reason for moving that infantry unit. So I had spent 6 of my 28, so I should be at 22. Oops, wrong thing. 2, 4, 5. No, I spent 6. That's right. 2 infantry and 2 armored. So I had 24 or 20. Something's not right there. Should be at 20. 2, 4, 5, 6. I should be at 22. There I am. Okay. Cleaned up my stuff. Then I think I came over here and moved a Romanian. So next thing I did, I just moved him up there to try and slow down any right swing by the Russian army. Then I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it. And I said, you know, I could wait a turn, then I'd have an armor in the north, an armor in the south, and another one railed up here to be used in September. And then, you know, unleash in August on him and just take the attacks here in Romania. And then I thought about it and said, you know, if I give him a turn, he may just say, not too many Germans, and just back away, and I won't kill any Russian armies. So I decided to go for Barbarossa in July. So went after his airplanes. +2 to 0. I rolled a 7. He rolled a 5, of course. So each took 1. I became a 1, and he became a -1. I rolled a 5. He rolled a 4 minus 1 is a 3, so he took 2. I became a 0. He was a -3. I rolled a 2. So we each took 1, and then I did it again. It should have actually been a net -1. It's -4. I get a 5, and finally got him. But it took me 4 sorties to do. And then we go off to the next airplane, try and get rid of the Russian Air Force. Maybe I'll do better here. Rolled a 6 to a 2, so I got 2 to start with. +1 to -2, 7 to a 2. So I got him for 3 that time. Then I was able to just take him out with the last sortie. So I did a little better there. 7 for 12 sorties, not too bad. Then I started activating things. Started here in the middle. Attacking the 11th. I'm +2 to 0. 6 movement points left. He's checking his events. I think we go to combat commitment. I decided to commit on this one since I had the extra air sortie. So I'd be +4 to 0. Rolled an 8 to his 3, so he was flipped, retreated. I attacked him again, this time at +2 to -2. Did not commit. Rolled a grand total of a 3 to his 2, so nothing happened, so I spent 2 more movement points. That's us going through combat commitment. I rolled a 3 again. Notice the pattern here? I'm rolling an awful lot of 1s. And he ended up with a 2. 3 minus 2, which is a 1, so he just retreated 1 hex. Went ahead and took it and spent my last 2 movement points to try and attack him. Rolled a 5 to 4 minus 2 is a 2, and I had a 5 plus 2 is a 7, so that's a DD result. So I actually finally destroyed the Russian army and took the hex. Next up, I moved the armored unit, activated him. Attacking there, so I'm starting off at return combat commitment. Oh, +4. +6. And then he threw a tanks marker. Tank marker to my aircraft. I really wanted to break through here so I could encircle Kaunas. So it was +6 to +2. I rolled a 5, +6 is an 11. He rolled a 1 +3. 2 is a 3, which is only a flip and retreat. So if he hadn't played his tanks, he would have been eliminated. So it was important that he played it. That was 1, 2, 4, 5. Yeah, I had 8, and then I spent 3, so I have 5 left. And I attacked him at +3 to -2. I don't think we played anything here. I rolled a grand total of 5. He rolled 6 minus 2 is a 4. So I spent 3 more. Got an 8 to his 2 minus 2 is a 0, so it's a 1. To DD, so he's eliminated. I took the hex. Didn't really matter. Then I just moved up adjacent to Riga. Because this guy now is can be attacked. You'll see in a second. I moved the 15th in to attack because of my zones of control. He's isolated. So I will start off at +3. +2 for German, +2 for isolation, -1 for the city. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 3 movement points left. I think we're in combat commitment here. Neither one of us bothered to commit. And I rolled a 6 + 3 is a 9. He rolled a 1. So poof. He was eliminated. I took that. I still had 3 movement points left. And I was trying to think of what to do with them. And I thought about, I can go there, but I can't attack. I know I thought real hard about this. Thought I could run that far, and I decided I wanted to go here because I felt I had a chance of holding out there. Then I had this guy just come up and start attacking Lvov. So I'm +1 to 0. I think we're in combat commitment. He did not. I went ahead and threw the airplane. So that would be +3 to 0. I rolled a grand total of 5. He rolled a 5. So I went ahead and should have 2 movement points left. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope, I have 1 movement point left, right. Okay. Combat commitment again. Neither one of us committed. It's just +1 to 0. Finally rolled a 6. So that gave me a 7. He rolled a 3, so he retreated. And went behind the river. So I went ahead and took the hex. That's 2 more will points. Then I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to attack there. And used up the last one up there, so I ended up at +3 to 0. I rolled a 5 + 3 was an 8. He rolled a 5, which forced him to retreat. He went back, so I went 1 space up and stopped. This guy went 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 on the city. So I should have 3 movement points left. I'm starting off at +1. We both committed. I threw in my airplane from the south. He threw in his tanks marker. This last one. It's +3 to +2. I rolled a 4. He rolled a 3 net. Net 4 to net 3. So that didn't work. So I attacked him 1 more time at +1 to 0. Got a 3. He rolled a 1, so he was flipped. So, not the best attacks in the world, but then I attacked with the 18th Infantry. I only have 4 movement points left. I'm at a 0 to his -2. Rolled a 5. 5 minus 2 is 3, which is a retreat, which he can't do, so he's eliminated. And I go ahead and take the hex. He flies his airplane back there. And that's 2 more will and another factory down. I do have a nose enemy zone of control that I can place here. I did it for aesthetic purposes. I had 4 movement points left, and I said there's really no place for me to go with 4 movement points, so I'm just going to attack. And I was trying to think of what the better attack was. And I think I ended up just trying to figure out which way to attack. And I said, never mind, I'm just going to attack down into the forest. +1 to 0. I rolled a 6 + 1, 7. It's like, can't get any better than that. He rolled a 5. I said, yeah, I don't care. I'm not going to let you have me. So then I put 1 too many control markers down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tacked into villainous. So it's only +1 to 0. I rolled a 6 + 1 was a 7. He rolled a 2, so he's retreated. Or 7 to 2, he's actually retreated and flipped. So he went back, and I was like, oh, great. Another 2 points for taking another city. And I went ahead and attacked again, this time at +2 to -2. Rolled a 5 + 2 is a 7. And he rolled a 2 - 1, or 1 - 2, which makes him a 1. It's another DD, so another infantry unit is kaputted. And I went ahead and took the hex. Because, hey, it's the thing to do, right? Now, while this looks very dire for the Russians, it's not. Because I did Barbarossa here, East invaded this turn, he's going to get 5 armies and an airplane with 2 sorties to just plop down. So there's going to be a guy showing up at Minsk, a guy showing up at Veluki, a guy showing up at Kiev, another airplane. It's just like, it's horrible. So then I think I finally moved the Africa army when we attacked at +1 to 0. I rolled a 5 + 1 is a 6. He rolled a 1. He was very nice to me. He was flipped, so I had spent 6 movement points to do that, or I had 6 movement points left, so I spent 3 to attack again. So it's +1 to -2. I rolled the same thing. 5 + 1 is a 6. Rolled a 2. -2 is a 1. So that guy's eliminated. Go there. He loses another will point. I was trying to think of where I wanted to go with him. Because I could have had a no enemy zone of control there, and I could have gone, 3 movement points. Where can I go that's useful for 3 movement points? And I went, no place. I should just use the 3 movement points to attack this infantry unit here that doesn't have a supply, or doesn't have a retreat route. So, and I was +1 to 0, and I rolled a 1, so I had a 2. And he rolled a 3, so nothing happened. We were done. And then, for illustrative purposes, 1, 2, 1, 2 hexes to a rail line gives me supply, so I'm actually staying in supply there. And if I added right, I'm down to like 11. So that's like 3 airplanes, whatnot. Right? And you'll notice I did move an airplane. The 5th Luft had 1 sortie left when he was in Trieste, or wherever he was. No, he was in Bologna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He got to Belgrade. That was why I was hoping I would have. If I had an extra sortie before, I had a way of getting this guy further into Romania. I would have had an airplane further in Romania, but he didn't. So things didn't work out the way I wanted. And I believe I'm done with my operations phase at this point. Yeah. I got 1 guy to move up. All right. That put me at 10. So hopefully he doesn't flip any armored units or anything. Oh, I actually went down to 9. I played dangerously. Okay. And I'm done. All right. So this is him setting out his armies and dropping them down all over the place. So you immediately put one into Minsk, put another in Kiev, put another in Veliluki, put one in Tallinn, and put one, I think, in Odessa. No, in Kishinev. Okay. He thought about the guy in Kishinev. He was like, it's kind of weak in the north, so maybe I'll put him in Smolensk. And I think he ended up leaving him in. And then now what we're doing is we're putting all the things in the Lend-Lease is going in the turn track. Let's bring it up so you can see things moving from this box into the turn track. Lend-Lease goes into 6 turns from now, which is January. The 4 units in the tanks go 6 turns later, which is also January. What were we doing next? Russian winter goes into this December. One partisan goes 6 turns. The other partisan goes 18 turns. So 42, January 42, January 43. That was the factory loss marker. Went on to the national tracks, into the 1 box. Surprise attack markers 3 and 4 years out, 44 and 45. And then the Urals markers go into the next turn. So he'll get a, I captured a couple factories, he's going to get one back right away. So there you have it. That's the Russian thing there. That was us adjusting the conditionals for north and south. Neither one of those conditions have happened. So, and we adjusted his national will to make sure we had it right. I had taken 5 armies here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in cities. So grand total of 13. He dropped from 97 to 84. Not a very good Barbarossa start off. Usually you get at least another 6 out of that attack, but I didn't this time. Because I didn't have the army in Romania to go busting into Bessarabia. And now he uses the second convoy, is evacuating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Two. Yeah, we counted. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 7 to C-Zone 7, so it's just a matter of where does he want to put it. And this is the one I don't understand why he went to Belfast here, because he doesn't have a guy in Cardiff. And I'm like, why didn't you just move into Cardiff? But he didn't. And then the unit in Taranto, we counted. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the canal, 6 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the Arabian Sea, and then another sortie to get up into Western Indian Ocean. So I think he's going to put 2 sorties on himself. Yeah, he puts 2 sorties on himself and ends up in the Western Indian Ocean box. Because he's going to build the BEF there. I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing to do. Save yourself some turns. And then he moves the Western Desert Force totally. I did have my surface action back, so I went ahead and tried to use it. Desperation attack, trying to keep the Western Desert Force from getting to Italy. So he's at +2, I'm at +1, and I roll a 1. And he rolled a 3, so I ended up being 3 turns out. So I'm not coming back in for like forever. And then he goes on his merry way. And he lands in Catania. And then he turned around, and I think he moved the Mediterranean fleet back up to Belfast. That's when I was talking to him. I said, you should just have them go there. Medfleet go there, and then have the Catania convoy catch up to the airplane. And I think that was it. That's all we did. He did his supplies here. We go over to the Soviets. Now we see the Russian response to the German attacks. What are we doing? I don't know why. Oh, yes. He was asking me about zones of control. I'm like, yeah, my armor has a zone of control, even though he's in a strategic redeployment. So for my zones of control, it's like I pretty much have it so you can't just run by me. You have to actually fight things. I'm not sure what he... Oh, yeah. He moved this guy back. He was trying to figure out how to move him, and it's like, well, you can't move that way because there's zones of control everywhere. So he decided to move this guy to there. And I think he attacked because he's at... he's +2 for me being isolated, -1 for the swamp, and I'm only +2. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he got an attack off. And he used his fighter too, so he ended up with +3, I think. Yep, +3 to +2. He rolled a 7, I rolled a 4, +2 is a 6, so I matched his die roll. And then he attacked with this guy. It's the same thing. He rolled a 7, I rolled a 3, +2 is a 5, just enough to tell him no. And then I think he attacked at +1 to +2, just trying to get a, if he can get a flip, he's got me, maybe. He got a 4, I got a 6, which just stopped his attack right there. And then we went down to whatever he was going to do next. And I had pointed out to him that if he goes there and moves a guy to 2441, this guy would at least be in supply. I might have a better chance of surviving. But he thought about that. Decided to do this stuff first. Nope, and he did it. We kind of went back and forth on what he should do. He was not really sure. And I think he went ahead and attacked at 0 to 2, and he rolled a 1 and I rolled a 3. I had one chance to roll a 6 against him and flip him, but it didn't work. So then he moved Tallinn into the bend of the Duna, which just makes sense. And he moved the Leningrad guy out. Right, moved the Leningrad guy out. Moved Smolensk up here. Moved this guy to there. And Serenity, he moved back because he was afraid of me being able to get it isolated. And then he came down here. Went ahead and decided to attack the Romanians. It's basically starting off at 0 to 0. Or I'm -2 and he's -2. And then I throw in a ground support, so I'm only -1. He rolled a 6 minus 2 was a 4. I rolled a 5 minus 1 was a 4. And then my ground support comes back in 2 turns. And then he attacked again, so I used again. He rolled a 3 minus 2 is a 1. 6 minus 1 is a 4. And this one came back in 5 turns. Then he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He had one more attack here. 3, 4, 5, 6. He should have only had 2 movement points left, not 4. He got one too many attacks off here. He rolled a 6 minus 2 is a 4. I rolled a 5 minus 2 is a 3, so nothing happened. He's moving another army somewhere. Move the guy out of Sebastopol up to Odessa. He moved the Kiev guy somewhere. Oh, he's trying to figure out where to move the Kiev guy. That's what it was. I was trying to show him that I could not. He was trying to figure out if he was going to get in trouble having Riga being isolated. And I said, I can't isolate it because I can't get by these zones of control. So he'll always have a retreat route. And I'll be attacking across the river at best. And he was like, oh, if that's the case, then I'm going to move this guy up here to, mess with you. And then we go into the no supply phase. The West, this time, just back this up a little bit. At this point, the Western airplane, there's no way it'll ever get in supply. And rather than waiting an extra turn for it to have no supply and being required to be pulled off, he pulled it off this turn so he can rebuild it basically a turn early. Because there's no way he'll ever be able to supply that unit in time. So, and that was it. Replacements for the Axis. I had 9 left, so I did this airplane, this airplane, this airplane. He did his fleets. He had enough points to do his fleets. He could have spent points all day long and never had to worry about it. And then he goes over to the Russians, does his fleet down in Western Indian Ocean. And then I think we go into the Russians where he's just doing his fighters. He doesn't have any flipped over units either. Go through the upgrade, mobilization. The Western Allies had got to mobilize. They put in Gibraltar. And not sure where he put the... Brought in the BEF here too. Could swear he brought in the BEF. Oh, and the BEF he put... That's right. He built the BEF down here in the Indian Ocean, I think. Yeah, he forgot. I was like, there's the guy supposed to be in the Indian Ocean? He's like, oh yeah, I forgot to put him there. And then we're just getting our stuff back. Stuff off the game term track. So the Urals he gets another factory for his Urals for the Russians. He gets his Ultra back, and I have like no events in my event box. And he has many events in his. So things are not going well for the Germans. Not quite as disastrous as they used to be, but definitely not where they need to be. And then the Russian army comes down there. And then we're at current weather phase. He started to do his production. I said, let's just wait till next turn. Do that. And that ends the log file. So, wee bit of an advance into Russia. Next turn I'll have an armored that I can try and push some of these Russians out of Bessarabia with flanking moves by the infantry from the north. Can I get anything going? I don't know if I can even breach the Duna at this point. I'm going to be lucky if I can push him up to Minsk, which means by September I might breach the Duna, reach the upper Dnieper, and maybe the lower Dnieper by the end of September if I'm lucky. Just not a lot of oomph here. There's a couple of infantry missing and a couple of armored units missing that I just can't get over here fast enough is my problem. And, I got the British still screwing around in Italy, so I can't just abandon it. If I owned all these ports and made him use a surprise attack marker to get in, then that would be different. But, he owns all these ports, so I just need to get rid of the ones on mainland Italy at least and try to bottle them up on the toe here or something. Not being able to base a German airplane in Italy when it goes over to Western Allied is really, really, really hurts. It's one of the things I was going to bring up in the rules forum. I think that maybe we should seriously think about if Italy goes pro-Western, it should be considered the same as France for Western, for home defense. It's one of the countries it can be placed in. Or maybe limited to being like northern Germany within 3 hexes of the German border or something. So that they can cover northern Italy, but they can't like really invade the be used in the Mediterranean per se without you giving up something somewhere else. But yeah, it's going to be really hard to defend northern Italy for quite a while. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm Dren608. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Hit that like button so that the YouTube algorithms keep my videos up and running for everybody. And until we see you next time. Oh, by the way, this was the German Diplomatic Disaster Series, chapter, I think this is episode 10. Last one was episode 9. I don't think I mentioned that it was the German Diplomatic Disaster in that one. And my opponent on Board Game Geek's handle is HinrikV. It'll be in the comments down below. So, like I said, I'm Dren608. Like my videos, subscribe, hit the like button. Till we see you again, stay safe, and bye-bye.